Hello all, in Pedagogy of English, we are going to see a new poem that is On Killing a Tree, which is written by Gieve Patel. This is a poem which describes about the resilience of a tree and the difficulty of completing destroying it. Let us see in depth about the lesson plan on killing a tree by Gieve Patel. It highlights the tree's deep connection to the earth through its roots, which allow it to withstand attempts to kill it, such as hacking or chopping. The poem explains that to truly kill a tree, one must uproot it entirely, exploiting its roots to the sun and air to wither and die. It serves as a metaphor for the persistence of a life and the effort required to overcome it, while also subtly critiquing human destruction of nature. On Killing a Tree paints a vivid and brutal picture of what is involved in killing a tree. The poet tells that killing a tree is a difficult and time-consuming process. Simply stabbing it with a knife is not enough to kill it, because new green twigs will grow again. What that was chopped off will be replaced by new boughs, which will grow to their former size. He says to kill a tree, it is essential that the root, which is the source of a tree's life, must be pulled out of its deep hole in the earth. If it is exposed to the sun and air, this life source will be scorched. This exposure will leave the root vulnerable to all weather conditions, which will ultimately weaken the tree and kill it. Let us see the lesson plan. Here you have to write the name of the student teacher, your name, then the class which you are going to handle. So this particular topic on killing a tree is from 9th standard. We have to go with the instructional objectives like what you are going to teach to the students, which is like describing about the poet, that is Gieve Patel, then read the poem on killing a tree, then explain each paragraph, that is each stanzas, to the students, then illustrates its meaning of the poem with the last two stanzas. Coming to the instructional materials which is required for this poem is pictures and charts with points to avoid deforestation. Previous knowledge of the learner. Here we have to test the previous knowledge of the learner. What plays important role in perceiving the nature? So the students will give with the answer growing trees. Have you all ever watched the process of cutting a tree? The students may tell the answer like yes or no. So let us see the On Killing a Tree's lesson plan. So we have to divide into 4 columns, that is content, specification, learning experience, then evaluation. So we have to talk about how the poet Gieve Patel has described the content. So that part has to become in the content session. Then in specification we have to describe, or we can make it as read or list out. Likewise we can just divide it the specification part. Then comes the learning experience. Then we can divide the content like first 2 stanzas or the message of the poem. In the specification we can write like explanation or explain, illustrate, describe, list out, likewise. And in the learning experience, how the poet has described or explained, we have to expand it briefly, then we can write this as learning experience. Then the last part is evaluation. In evaluation, the specification content what we have given like explain, that can we make it as a question. Like explain the first 2 stanzas of the poem. Why? Because the content we have given is first 2 stanzas, which is like explain the first 2 stanzas of the poem. Then comes the message of the poem. If we are giving the content as message of the poem, then in illustration we can have the learning experience like illustrating the poems in detail. Then in evaluation, we can illustrate the message of the poem. By giving like this is the lesson plan to be written. Then comes the recapitulation. In recapitulation, a teacher has to ask the students few questions about that content what he or she has delivered. Then it can be like description of the poet, that what the poet or the poem is about. Explaining the social message to the poet which brings about from the poem. Then write the process of killing a tree. Here comes the next side heading like home assignment. Yes, in home assignment, the students are given some assignments or homework to be done at home. Then you have to give like signature of the student teacher, signature of the guide teacher, then the signature of the teacher educator. So this is the whole point about the lesson plan. This is how a student you have to write while you are going for a class. Thank you.